late, thanks to a client, but I'm happy I'm with you today. That's a very personal scope though. We will deal with my worst defeat. I never talked about this though, but if you're interested in it, that's the right podcast to go to. And let me flip the screen. Periscope started this AMA series, so you should do an Ask Me Anything. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of questions. You can ask me anything, but I want to share with you a story, and it's a very personal story though, so maybe your followers might be interested. If you think so, tap here and share it out with the world. I would love so. I think I will never share that story again, truth be told, so maybe you don't want to share it. It's about my first, actually it's about my second company, and it was Model Home. For those people who don't know who am I, my name is WeKhan, and I built up some businesses. Did Periscope change my life? Yes, big time, and I'm going to talk about it in 5 to 10 minutes. But before, I want to share with you a quite personal story. I don't know if I even saved this broadcast. I know I added the hashtag save to it, but I don't know if I would really do it because it's not a good story for me. And it's not a nice time to think back, to be honest. Thanks for all the shares, by the way, K-Love, Imal. Really appreciate all of you that share. And for those people who don't know my background, I'm an entrepreneur. I didn't start with Periscope. Periscope was not my first app or brand idea or anything. It was attractive people, and then I come Model Home. Model Home was a model community. It's actually the largest professional model community we have in Germany. And truth be told, it was a failure. It was a big failure, and I explain you why. I was a model a couple of years ago. Some of you might think, really? Yeah, it's true. I've been a model, and hey Kev, thanks for tuning in. And I made a lot of money with modeling internationally, and I thought, that whole modeling industry doesn't really work out. Just if you don't know about the modeling industry, it's a commission-based industry. Means agencies take a huge commission from every job you do. They take up to 70%. It's crazy. It's between 25 in Germany up to 70% in Paris in France. So it's a huge commission-based model. Hey Mike, thanks for tuning in. And I thought, why do models give away so much of their revenue while there could be a community where you just pay something in advance, talking about $50 a year, and you don't pay any commission anymore. And I didn't understand the market back at that time. So people didn't buy into that premium membership and then don't pay a commission anymore because they thought, well, maybe I don't get ever a job. And then I paid already something. So to give you an example, models are totally fine with giving away 50% of the income, which is a couple of $100 a day, but they don't pay $50 in advance to not be sure if they ever get a job. Back to it. That's just that thinking of models, of most of them. Hey JFK, good that you tune in. So this premium membership I started with Model Home, and Model Home it's still existing though, but it's a model community. It's like a little Facebook, but just for the modeling industry. You can check it out, modelhome.com. And it's monkey thinking, says Monica. Anyway, so I tried everything around it. I tried to sell composite cards, like designing of composite cards. I tried to sell model websites. I tried to sell photo shoots. I tried to sell, what else did we try? Consulting for them, connecting them with photographers, premium memberships. I said this before. It's like Model Mayhem. Yeah, it's a little bit like Model Mayhem. But the problem was nothing really worked out. And I looked at my bank account. It was like in 2009, so 6 years ago. And I just had 6 months left. The costs were more than the revenue. And there was not much I could do because I just couldn't make it. I just couldn't make it work. No matter what I tried, the costs were always bigger than revenues. I had 3 employees back at that time, and I just couldn't scale it. So I thought, what can I do? I really thought, like, what's possible? What could I do to really scale it up? And that was the first time I actually were thinking about, well, social media. And I had a fan page with Model O. We had like 15,000 fans on that fan page. So I was approaching a big client, a newspaper here in Germany. And I told them, well, listen, we are a small community, but we have 15,000 fans. And you are a big newspaper and you have 1,000 fans. So I think I do something right on Facebook. So maybe we can work together. And we did a pilot over 3. I will buy anything you're on. That's sweet. So we tried it for, well, basically, let's say the private light. What about this? That's like more a private light for that private scope, right? What are you talking about? I'm just sharing a story about like my worst time before we can go into Q&A. And you can ask me anything you want to. It will be a small group today because people are not too much into Ask Me Anything. But I know the core people are in here right now. So going back to the story, I thought, you know, if this doesn't work out, I go bankrupt. And it would be really the case. So I helped this company, this newspaper, to scale up their Facebook. And it was the first time I actually realized that social media works. That social media, first of all, sells. And that social media can make a difference. It was actually 7 years ago. And this really saved my whole company. So I started my advertising agency back in 2009 because of this one client. Because that client started to sell advertisement online and offline. And I was doing the fan pages for all medium to large companies in Munich. And I learned how it works, how client works, and how social media works for clients on Facebook and Twitter, and I started with websites and so on. So it's not really easy for me to talk about that because I was really like, and I don't think I really summed it up in a good way because I'm a person, I like to focus on the positive. I'm not trying to focus on the negative. But looking back of my company history in founding businesses, the time with Model O back in 2009 was probably the worst because I was literally thinking of going broke. It was really, well, really bad. So I don't know if any one of you started a business and it didn't work out at one point. And you know how it is when you think like, what do I do if it doesn't work out? Will I move back to my parents' place? Will I ask them for money? I'm a quite proud person. I don't like this, you know. I don't want to go to my dad and say like, you know, back in that time I was 27. I finished my university already. And going back to my parents and like, you know, I started a company but it didn't work out. I need money. That was literally the worst for me, that thought. And I think I sticked with social media because it really saved my life back at that time. 9 years ago, it really saved my life and it really made it possible for me to start my first business, to grow it from basically zero to $1 million business in a couple of years. And it made it possible for me to start another business, and it made it possible for me to go to LA and be a co-founder in another business. And the basic principle of social media is the basic principles of human beings. Whoops. I'm sorry. Well, the last $1 million business. So let's talk to your and come to the San Francisco Periscope Summit. Yeah, there are a couple of things which happened. Well, the last $1 million business is Bella Candles. You can just check it out. It's a scented candle with a little jewelry inside. We did actually, I think, 2 million in revenue in the last year, in 2015. And we started it in the US 2014, so we scaled it in between 2 years from zero to a multi-million-dollar business, which is great. But I even left this company because of Periscope. And now, long story short, now we're back at what really changed my life. It's Periscope. And Periscope is amazing for many reasons. And we can talk about what is it called again? Bella candles. Like Bella, like Italian, Bella, and candles like candles. I was the CEO of the company, and now I'm just a shareholder. I left that company in December of last year. I'm still doing client business a lot. Why did I leave it? Or why does Periscope change my life? Hey, Alex, we need to connect. Mr. Relentless, yeah, let's do it. Whenever you want, just reach out, send me an email at alex@alexkhan.tv. What made you so confident to talk? Well, it definitely isn't my English. That's actually the worst. Can you imagine? For me, it's still stunning to think that I was a keynote speaker at the first Periscope Summit, that I was a speaker in the TV of Tomorrow show, and well, there are actually so many different events I've been in the last couple of months thanks to Periscope. Periscope really changed my life in so many ways that I actually don't know where to start. And if you know me, I usually can talk non-stop. But as I shared with you, my worst failure / worst time in this scope, I'm really a little bit melancholic, and I would say I'm touched by all the people who are in here right now and sharing this with me. And I think I'm gonna delete the scope. I think it will be only for the people who are in here right live. You don't want to share things that go wrong. I think most people focus only on the positive, only share their positive sides, and don't share the struggle. But I tell you, the struggle is real. Not only for you guys, also for me. Some people might look up and say, well, Alex, you build up a lot. And that's true, but you can be sure there were a couple of moments in my life where I was so short about to give up. Seriously, so short. It was just a couple of weeks left and everything would have become to an end if I would have given up. And I would be back at my parents' place, and that's kind of weird when you think back. I mean, it's a longer time ago, but anyway, thanks for sharing. Well, there you go. And then we would have slapped you if you gave up. That's sweet. Alex, thanks for sharing this. I got a lot from this scope. There you go. Alex never sleeps. Yeah, I'm not sleeping a lot, although sleep is important. I never met a strong person with an easy past. Yes, that's definitely true. Periscope pays you? No, Periscope is not paying anyone. And I know probably all of the big scopers. None of us got paid a dime so far. But we got some nice hearts, stickers. If this is a payment for you, probably I got paid. I think it's more important for people to know. You need to understand that everyone is struggling. But going back to your questions, what are your questions? How did I start with Periscope? What's my favorite people to watch? When did I first join the app? How many broadcasts have I done? What are your questions? That's an AMA, Ask Me Anything scope, so feel free to ask me whatever you want. I'm happy to answer your questions one by one. Alex, your thoughts on Busker? It's funny that you asked me because I had a Skype call with the CEO of Busker today. Very nice guy, by the way. And I think it's a great system because actually you can earn money. They're still small. They just literally started today, 2 weeks ago. So it's a very new app. For those people who don't know what Busker is a live streaming app like Periscope, but people can support you by spending money on your streams. And in the future, you will be able to sell stuff. So for example, I could wear a shirt and I could sell that shirt and tell you, well, tap here and you can sell that shirt. It's a nice idea. If you want to download Busker, it's a free app. Please add me. It's the same username like I have here. It's iOS only, but I can tell you, as I talk to the CEO, it will start on Android in June. So it's a little bit time to pass, but that's how it is. Did you find it easy to use? Yeah, Gary, I think it's pretty convenient. I like it. How do you spell it? Busker. Well, that's a good question. I think it's Busker. Busk. Oh, there we go. Busker. There you go. Well, thanks for all of you. You should give it a try and make sure to follow me. Cannot find it. Well, it's only in the iOS store. Thank you for introducing me to Fiverr.com from your Snap. There you go. It's a great site for buying services. Pretty cheap. Like those dudes that busk for coins. Yeah, that's true. When did you start scoping? Great question. Yes, my username is the same on Busker, and I started scoping on the 26th of March 2015. So exactly, well, what's the day today? 1 year and 6 weeks around. Day one of Periscope. Yes, it was the day that one of Periscope. Do you have any mentors, Alex? Yes. I have actually 5 mentors from different fields, and I love them. And none of them will watch now, probably, but if anyone knows them, say hello. Hey, Brian. Thanks for coming in. Hey, the masterclass, Eduardo. Thanks for your question today in my masterclass. I could see you on Broadway performing. For sure not painting on Broadway, and for sure not dancing. The best thing I can paint is probably this. That's as good as it gets. Sorry, guys. It's not getting better. I loved your class. Thank you, Dancing Tree. I really appreciate you. Scoper Chat, that. I don't know what Scoper Chat. Can someone build a 6-figure business from scratch on social media? Well, yes. I mean, I did it. From scratch. It was the story I shared with you. It was literally from scratch. And I know how I started. I had no investment in social media, just my expertise and my community. So it's possible. Do I think the chance is very high? It depends. It depends on your sweat equity. So for those people who don't know what sweat equity is, it's how much work you put into it. And if you have a strategy. And of course, it depends on the industry too. It all depends on the execution. You know, I'm not a big fan like Gary from ideas. I also believe ideas are shit. I mean, it's a great idea to write the script for a movie like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and then become a movie star and get an Oscar and earn millions of dollars. It's a great idea. So now go out and do it. I just gave you the idea. Ideas are shit. It's all about execution. You need to know how you do it. There are a gazillion ideas. Can you execute is the key. Exactly, Gary. How do you balance your workload between clients, masterclass, etc.? That's a great question, Erica. So in the morning, I work with 2 employees of mine. I work very close with them, and I work on the masterclass and on all my content. So they work on blog posts, on my Instagram posts. Right now, I'm still training them. I just started to work with them a month ago when I started my masterclass. And then the second part of the day, I spend with clients. Most of the time, I'm spending with them on Skype. So I'm not often leaving this. Now I came back from a client meeting very late, Hagen Dinger here, but most of my clients are not in Munich. So I work with them on Skype, via Skype calls or via GoToMeeting. And besides that, I spend a lot of time watching you. And you might be amazed about this, but that's actually true. I spend a lot of time watching your scopes, watching your content. I'm spending a lot of time on Instagram, a lot of time on Twitter. Sometimes you will see that I'm commenting a couple of things. I'm liking every single tweet myself, and you can be sure when I reply to you, it's always me. No one is handling my accounts. So that's a good thing, I guess. I'm amazed how quick you respond on your social media. How do you keep up? I'm not sleeping so much, although I know I should sleep longer. But for me, I really care. Do you have Snap? Yes, I have Snapchat. It's AlexKhan1. It's like my username, but the one at the end. Time to sleep. Yeah, I mean, it's 1 o'clock and I will still be here probably half an hour, 20 minutes, answering your questions. And then I probably will work on a tip for my masterclass. If you want to get more information about the masterclass, by the way, we're opening soon again. It's alex@alexkhan.tv, or send me a tweet or a DM. But the email is alex@alexkhan.tv. What said someone? It's just 50 spots. Yeah, it was just 50 spots. We'll open it again. Thank you, Katja. You can block me on here too and on Twitter. Well, I could, but why I should block you, bro? What laptop are you using right now? I'm using a Mac Airbook. Yeah. You can do it. It's an awesome experience. Thank you, Liz, for underscoring this. Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud. You know, after so I explain you about a masterclass a bit. We had to be a part of WeKhan tribe to get info. Well, you can just send me an email. I send you info. Where are you from? I'm from Germany. And my name is Alex. You probably know that. And I'm an entrepreneur. I love, my professor at university always said, like, you know, Alex is one of those guys, he doesn't want to be hired. He wants to invent his own job. No job is good enough for him. He wants to have his own job. That's why he always needs to found a company that defines his own job and defines it and builds it up. It's probably true in some way. I probably have a problem with authority. I don't know. I gotta run to finish writing a project. Thanks for doing this, Alex. I hope to see you in December. Gary, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you. Thoughts on Instagram for business. What is a masterclass? Masterclass is my social media class. I started with 50 people. Only 50 people could join. I'm doing this now for 5 weeks. Out of those 50 people, 96%, means 48, are still with me. 2 canceled, which is, I think, it's a pretty cool quote. And I love it. I teach people on not one-on-one, but group webinars, how social media works. 2 canceled, you mean gave up? Well, depends on the point of view. Yeah, you can turn it around as you want. And one of us loves it, but I need a different time. Yeah, as I said, this or next weekend, I'm gonna do a webinar at the weekend, and every day. So basically, the masterclass, it was a fantastic detailed training. Thank you, Ima. I really appreciate you. One of my masterclass students. Every day, I'm posting a tip, Monday till Friday, a tip about Periscope or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat. And every week, I do a live webinar where you can ask me questions and I explain you one platform or one trick or how you build up a funnel and different things. So if you're interested in it, send me an email and I'll let you know when I open it again. Now I missed all the comments. Please repeat. It's wonderful. Ledon is also one of my masterclass students. Thank you, Ledon. Really appreciate your feedback about the class. And by the way, most of the people bought in from Periscope. What's the cost? The cost is $49 per month. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. As I said, 2 took part in it, took that. The rest is still with me. I really appreciate all of you. You're still the man, Alex. Thank you. Really appreciate you. When you send me an email, I will send you the website. You can see the feedback and everything. It's probably a good deal. At least that's what the people say. Love it. It's more than worth it. Thank you, Dancing Treya. Also, and that's not made up. Those are real students who give you feedback. I'm not paying them for saying this. So just that you know, people love it. But I mean, it was sold out after 2 hours. Just that you know, it was sold out pretty quickly. But I'm gonna open it for another 50. What's the Periscope update? Well, you can search for broadcasts now. That's pretty cool. If you go to the map, you can now look for broadcasts. You can use hashtags like on Twitter. And that's how it works. I learned so much, says Serena. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate you, my friend. Are you a member of the masterclass? Ask Blackbox. Yes, Liz is. You are so genuine and I appreciate all your training so far. Thank you, Steph. Save feature on scopes. Well, save feature on scopes has been there before. But now you can actually search for different scopes, which is cool. If you, for example, look for hashtag AMA, you will find my scope and other scopes about Ask Me Anything. Alex, is there a reason why lots of people are doing AMAs? Is it a theme for the week? Farida, that's a great question. The reason is that Periscope asked a couple of us to do it. And it starts today. That's why Alex was doing it. That's why Ryan and Brian and so on were doing it. That's why AJ was doing it. Periscope reached out to a couple of us and we should do it. And that's why I also do it today. Is it the viewers down on Periscope? Well, it depends a lot on your topic. I think AMA is not such an interesting title for people. If I compared, yesterday I had like 1,500 viewers, or I think the day before yesterday. Today I have, how much do I have? Like 400 something so far, 484. It depends on the time, it depends on the topic, it depends if people like what you're talking about right now. What does AMA stands for? Ask Me Anything. AMA seems more intimate, less for the masses. That's true. People want to get education here from me. I'm not talking about anything. But you can ask whatever you want. Do you want to know about my first business? Do you want to know what was my biggest mistake? What do you think I should focus on when you start a business? What do you want to? How can we grow our followers on Periscope? I get a bunch of creeps. Well, just block the creeps or just don't care about the creeps. And be active in other scopes. The best thing to grow your audience is be active in other scopes and cross-promote your content and your channels. So do something on Instagram and pre-promote your scope on Twitter and so on. Tell us about your first business. My first business was actually a website when I was 16. And it was a fun page. I was building a fun page. We had like quotes. Well, it was just me. I was still at school and I had quotes and jokes and cartoons and all different fun things, even flirt quotes I had on that page. It was a German page. You can still look that up. It was called Funniest, like funny, funnier, funniest, funniest.de. If you go on archive.org, I can show it to you. Let me show you my first website when I was 16. When I go on archive.org, I never shared this, I think, so far. Let me show it to you. Let me go on a website. I think they still have screenshots of this. Yeah, flirt quotes, funniest.de. Oh, why it doesn't show it? Huh? They don't show it anymore? That's weird. I did it like 2 years ago. And there it did it. Yeah, it was funniest.de. So actually, show what? You have my first website. And I sold the content of the website. That was what I did. Well, now it's not there anymore. That's a pity. Why it's not there anymore? It was a red blue site. Why there is no... That's pretty weird. Well, that's how it is. Can't tell you, can't show it to you. Alex, what did you want to be as a child? I think I wanted to be a police officer. I found it pretty cool, especially when I saw Bad Boys with Will Smith. I thought, man, that's so cool. I want to be Will Smith in Bad Boys. That would be crazy. Yeah, save people and put away the bad guys. Alex, can you talk about busker? Well, I talked about buskers before. You want to be a bad boy? Well, I love the movie Bad Boys. That's it. I don't want to be a bad boy, though. Probably I was one when I was 16, 17, 20 or something. How to get sponsored on Periscope? That's a great question. I think many of you are interested. Let me answer this. One great way to find sponsorships is adding the username of the company you want to get sponsored for, the Twitter username, and then ask your viewers to share it. Because if they share it, they also share the username, they mention also the company, and the company will get a mention with the link to your broadcast. Of course, you have to have some viewers and some people who believe in you. But if I, for example, would love to get sponsored by Apple, they don't do it, but just to give you an example, everyone knows the company, I could just put @Apple in my Twitter, in my Periscope title, and then I could ask all of you to share my stream. And then I would probably Apple would get like 70, 80, 90 mentions with my title and the link to my broadcast. And maybe the head of marketing or whoever takes care about that Twitter page will think like, who's that guy? I just got 70 mentions for a Periscope stream from that guy, so I'm check that out. And probably you want to reach out and say like, well, I just see you have a lot of influence. Maybe we can do something. They might send me an iPod. Yeah, probably. So that's one idea of finding a sponsor. What was the funniest or most embarrassing event to happen to you in high school? It's the one I won't talk about. It has to do with a sexual affair with my girlfriend in a place where we actually shouldn't have done it, and people saw it. So that was probably one of the most... It was fortunately not my school, it was her school, so it was more embarrassing for her than for me. But when you are 16, I'm so happy. Honestly, I'm so happy that I lived in a time when there was no internet, no Facebook, no Snapchat, nothing which spreads. All the dumb things I did are gone. Disappeared forever. When you are 16 right now, this probably could end up at Facebook, could end up at YouTube, and your whole class and the whole world will see it, and it will go viral. So you need to be much more self-aware right now than you need to be when I was 16. Growing up with no social media. Please give me a thumbs up for everyone in this room who grew up without social media. Like me. Give me a thumbs up. Out yourself that you are older than probably 25. There we go. I would have never created with social media, says Liz. That's so funny. I think all of us who just put a thumbs up are so happy that we had no social media platforms when we were 16. When we were sweet 16, right? We are all old, but that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Hi Alex, how can I use Instagram and Periscope for business? Those are two questions. Instagram, well, let me find the common denominator between the connection between both. You can tell your story on both platforms, like why are you doing it? What makes you different? Show an insight in the company, behind the scenes. Tell them about your products, explain it. Tell them about your field. If you about what's your industry? Let's make a concrete example with your product, your industry to really help you out. Tell me a little bit more about yourself and then I will make an example which fits to your industry because it really depends. If you are all about dogs, it will be different than if you sell wine. It will be different if you sell holidays or what else, you know? What was the last time you pick me? Well, just give me an example. What age did you begin to enjoy school and excelling? I think I never really was a school guy. I didn't like it. I have an authority problem. I think everyone who tries to teach me something, it's always not good. Alex, the Facebook Live doesn't work on my personal page. Maybe you have to wait. You're a photographer. Okay. So photography, Instagram works out like a charm. Seriously, identify the right hashtags in your niche, post beautiful pictures as a photographer, and mention the clients. You can mention clients, they get your picture. So for example, if you, I don't know who's your client, but you can mention them. You can even DM them and take a look at my profile. You can reach out to them. You can take a look at their Instagrams and say, that's a beautiful picture. Start a conversation. Understand the most important thing is context. I talked today about a client. I don't want to mention which industry he's in because I'm not doing those kind of things. But he's selling a service which is interesting for people that are moving. Because they have their, let's say it's a dentist. It's not a dentist, but let's say it's a dentist. If you are moving from one city to the next city, what do you need? You need a new dentist. So does it make sense if you are a dentist to target people on Facebook, and you can do this, who moved recently? Yes, it does, because if I move from New York to Los Angeles, what do I need? I need a new dentist. Right? I'm not flying back to New York to having a dentist appointment. Well, maybe some people does, but most people won't. So I can target people who just moved recently. And this is context. Put ads into context. That's the power of social media. So, what are your questions? I don't see any comments. I think Periscope is probably lagging, and in the next 10 seconds I'll probably see hundreds of comments. Hey Alex, how can I use Instagram and Periscope for business? I sell Disneyland Star Wars items. Well, for sure, getting in touch with the hashtag all around Star Wars, from Luke Skywalker over R2D2. Actually, it's R2D2, the right English expression. In Germany, it's R2D2, or C3PO, or what are all the names, and all the actors and so on. You could find tons of hashtags, you take a look at the hashtags, and you start communicating with the people who post something about their favorite Star Wars article, and you just start talking about it. And then they might take a look at your profile, and there you have all your products in place, and a link to your website, and then they might buy it. It's that simple. You just need to think, where is my audience? How can I start communicating with them and drive awareness to my profile? And you do this by adding value. They are talking about the newest Star Wars movie. You jump in and say, I like that scene the most. He writes back, oh no, I like this things more. He might take a look at your profile. He sees, oh man, this guy is selling Star Wars articles. I love it. You might write a DM, if you're interested, I give you 10% discount, or for you, you should try. You get the point, right? You just need to find the right audience. I hope that helps. If that helps, give me a thumbs up. Do you have a girlfriend? No, I'm still single. Anyway, favorite season of Star Wars? You are an innovator and smart man. Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate you. Very good. Thanks. There you go. Gotta run. Have an appointment. Thank you, Barbara, for tuning in, by the way. Very good info. Thanks. You're most welcome. Oh, don't want to switch off the light. Come on. There we go. Favorite season, spring, summer, fall. My favorite season is probably summer. I love it warm. In LA, there is none. It's always the same season, kind of. If you have 30 seconds to tell everyone in the entire world something, what would you tell them? Whoa, that's a serious question. So I will repeat you the question. If I had 30 seconds to tell the world anything, what would I tell them? There you go, Jeremy Kiefer. So I would tell them, and this story is actually from my dad. My dad told me this when I was 7 years old, and I remember it, and I lived my whole life against this story. So when I was a kid, he told me this, and that's my 30 seconds. Here we go, Jeremy. This is for you. When I came to this world, everyone was smiling, and I was the one who was crying. I should live my life that when I leave this world again, everyone is sad and crying, and I'm the one who's actually smiling because I lived a fulfilled and wonderful life and helped people and made a difference. 30 seconds. There you go, Jeremy. So it's all about adding value to the world. That's wonderful. You're most welcome. Having a beautiful life and having a beautiful, great impact to the world. My man says 101. What tool are you using to find industry-related hashtags? You want to live a good memory. Exactly. Angela, I'm using followthehashtag.com. It's a free tool. Followthehashtag.com. It's a great tool to identify hashtags. One. Yes, you got it. It's 1 a.m. there. It's 1:30. It's 2:15 a.m. already. Did your grandparents influence you, and how? Yes. My grandparents influenced me. My grandfather showed me how to ride a bicycle, which I do every day. I'm really riding the bicycle every day. I love it. If I can and it's not raining too much, I'm not taking the car. I'm taking a bicycle to drive from A to B. So that's one impact. He also taught me how to ski, how to do skiing, how to go skiing. I think go skiing is right. How to go skiing. I love this. And my mother and my grandmother, and they also taught me how to play chess. So he had a big influence on my life. And my grandmother, she just taught me to eat. Really, she just taught me to eat. I love eating. She was such a good cook. Honestly, I fall in love with food as a kid because of my grandmother. To cook, yes. Unfortunately, she didn't show me to cook, but she showed me how to eat. No, unfortunately, she didn't teach me to cook. Unfortunately, she died when I was 7, so I was pretty young still. But she was a wonderful cook, though. I'm here for the milk and cookies. How to enjoy your food? Yes, that's true. What are some travel tips? Well, I've been to. I was actually counting those in another stream. I've been last year in 2015. I've been to 18 cities and 10 countries. And I enjoyed the most. I loved Ibiza. I definitely loved LA, all California, San Diego, and I mean I'm all over the place in California. I really love it. I also liked Singapore. Singapore was pretty cool. Um, Let me think of all those cities last year. I mean, Kuala Lumpur is nice too. One place I would love to go is Australia. I've never been to Miami, Liz, but I would love to go to Australia. Yeah. And maybe I will. Talking with a conference, maybe in October I will be on a conference speaking in Australia. I would love it. How many does it take to fill a scope chat room? 100. 100 people at the same time can comment. If you are the 101st person, then you need to wait. Oh, log in, log off and log in. I don't like your pronunciation. Well, that's probably because I'm German. I don't like it either, so great minds think alike. Which airline do you prefer for traveling? I like Etihad and Emirates, so the Arabian ones. And do you know why Emirates and Etihad are so great in their service, but also so cheap? Do you know why? What do you think? What do you think why they can afford to be so incredible cheap or affordable, but having such a great service? Because it's my country, says someone. Yes, Ema got it right. Oil. Because of oil. Kerosene, so gasoline, or how you call it in English, is the biggest costs. It's the biggest cost next to taxes. It's the biggest cost for airlines, and because oil is so cheap for them, that's how they do it. They pay their staff low rates. It's not true. They don't pay their staff so low rates, but oil. It's jet fuel. Yes, exactly. What do you think about Saudi Arabia and Arabs? They have no taxes. Yeah, so taxes and oil is the reason why they can offer such a high standard in service, but taking such an affordable price. I talked with a pilot about this the other day, so that's why. Wise. Well, yeah, it's actually pretty obvious when you think about it, but I also didn't think about it. What do you think about Donald Trump? Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't like to be political because I think either way you only can go wrong in scope. Some people love him, some people hate him. I think it's very hard for Americans right now who to choose. But you know, Trump does one thing very well. And this is his slogan. I think making America great again is a great marketing slogan which fits the sense of how people think about themselves in America. I think that was a genius move, and his authenticity is to a whole new level. If this is a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave it up to you to decide what he says. But I think his key is that he's pretty authentic. He says what he thinks. And that's where I leave it for you. He's not scared to speak his mind. Yeah, that's true. If you could do a broadcast with anyone, who would it be? Tony Robbins. That's easy. I'm really a fan of Tony Robbins. I think he's a great, great person. And he achieved a lot in his life. And his tips are pretty awesome. And he's the number one in his field. So, time to go for me, Alex. We love you. Oh, thank you, Liz. Really appreciate you, my friend. Should have tagged him in the title. Yeah, I could do this, but it's too early. I want to grow more before I approach someone I look up to. There are not many people I look up to. He's one of them. And I just want to feel like I'm in the right place, right moment when I want to reach out. I could reach out. A couple of friends and one of my mentors, he's friends with him. So he could easily introduce me to him. But I want to wait. What's the biggest mistake new scopers make today getting started? I think that's a great question. I want to repeat that question for you because I think that's a really, really, really great question. What is the biggest mistake I see that scopers do when they start scoping? And it's not that one single thing, but one thing for sure is that they start too early scoping. And you might think, oh, people are afraid and they don't start. It's starting too early because they skip their first scope. And the first scope is important because on the one hand, people might tune in because it's your first scope. People get a push notification for a first scope. Now actually Periscope introduced #FirstScope to promote first scopers. So you should really prepare yourself for the first scope. It's like for your first day at work, for your first date, for your first drive in your first car. I think you should enjoy it, but you should also prepare yourself and you should build up an audience by being active in other scopes before you start your first scope so that you make sure that your first scope is great, because if it's bad, no one shows up, you probably don't want to do it again. Can you use it for renewal first scope? Well, there's only one first scope though. Periscope knows if it's your first scope or not. If you have more than one heart, it's not your first scope anymore. People understand this. People are not dumb. Understand that. Talk about your mentors. One is a big entrepreneur. He built up a couple of businesses, sold one of them. I think his latest he sold for 100 million. It's pretty big. Another one is very big in the fashion industry. He dealt with all the big brands from Escada over, well, you name it, Esprit, Hugo Boss. He was, I'm not going too deep in which fields he was. Another one is pretty big in the internet space. Some of you for sure know him. So it's a variety of different people. One of them is my dad, truth be told. I think what my dad achieved in his life is just amazing. He came here to Germany not speaking one word of German, and he made up a living in a very good way, just because of hard work. So I think the biggest mentor I have is my dad. Where did he migrate from? From Iran. He migrated from Iran, I think, 40 years ago. How old was he there when he came to Germany? I think he was 21 or 22. Hey Al, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you, my friend. Hope you're doing great in the US. Yeah, I think that was it. Finished school and then he came to Germany. Not speaking a word of German. That was probably not the best plan he had. Thank you, Al. Really appreciate you. Greetings back to Los Angeles. Let's go on with your Q&A. We are at 681. Is it silly to not be on Twitter? Caroline, have you been a part of my webinar I did last week about how to use Twitter effectively? If you have, then you know the answer. If you haven't, I really strongly recommend you take a look at the first 20 minutes of that webinar, because it really explains you how you can start conversations in a good way with the advanced search. For all of you, please use the advanced search, not the normal search of Twitter. Take a look at the advanced search of Twitter. You can look for conversations like nowhere else. It's amazing. What's the link for that, Alex? Well, you need to be in my masterclass. That's the only way how you can do it. Advanced search. It's the link for the advanced search. Well, let me find it out for you. It's twitter.com/search/advanced. It looks like this. Wait. It looks